And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
Yo! Woo! Man. What's up, Greg?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, not much, dude. Just had a hacking fit before we started the show. My eyes are watering.
Yes.
I'm not crying. I'm not sad.
The hack attack came back, didn't it?
Oh, God. I still, I feel good. Deep down, when you take that real deep breath and you hear something like fluttering.
Oh, God, that's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it's like, it's deep in there. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe there's like a gnat in my lung. You know?
Gnat?
I don't know. Who knows?
You just inhaled a gnat while you're sleeping?
Possibly. I don't know.
They say we swallow a bunch of like bugs and shit while we're sleeping.
Yeah, we're
What
supposed
was
to.
it, like eight
do.
spiders or whatever crawl down your fucking mouth while you're
I feel like it
during
has
your
to
life
be
or something?
more than that, though.
I told my wife I felt like a spider was crawling on my arm the other night. You ever have those like phantom?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was real or not because I didn't see any evidence of me squashing a bug or anything like that.
It's a weird one.
I have actually woke up because I felt something, and then I jumped out of bed and like ripped the covers off, and there was a spider running across our
It's
bed.
fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's
I'm not a
happened to
fan
me
of
too.
spiders.
I hate spiders.
Yeah, of all the shit, spiders.
And that was up in Washington before we even came down here. It was a good size. It was big enough to where I could see it in the dark.
Yeah, I don't mind like killing them or being around them. It's just like if they're on me, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But like the whole phantom thing, dude. Like when you're watching a show about bugs, or like Hoarders is a great example. Like the TV series Hoarders.
Yeah.
And they show like cockroaches and bugs and shit, and it's like infested. You just feel fucking itchy, like, and you're paranoid. You're like, oh God, what the fuck?
I was
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
say,
I've never had that.
Really? You've never
it's
seen like
more-
a show with kid like with head lice on TV or something? You're just
and then all of a sudden your head itches now.
yeah,
No,
dude.
usually like when I get that stuff, it's like I'm not thinking about bugs at all. And
Oh,
it's
weird.
just like I'm feeling a tickle on my
So you
arm
just-
and I don't know what the fuck it is.
So you just have like a nervous system issue.
It might be, or there's a ghost following me and tickling.
That could be true too.
No, I get that. Like if I like have it, like feel some, I see something crawling on me, and then all of a sudden for like the next 15 minutes, I'm just like,
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, man.
Now, it would really freak me out if I started hearing Oochie Goochie. You know what I mean? Like a ghost is like whispering as they're trying to tickle me. You know?
Oochie goochie.
I've never heard that term in my life, dude. Oochie goochie.
You know, like, don't you say that when you're trying to tickle somebody?
No, you say like tickle.
Yeah,
tickle.
you say ticka 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 ticka. There's
Yeah.
tickle, like you don't go
ticka,
oochie goochie.
You can't
That's
do it.
creepy.
Wait, you can't do it, can you?
What?
Say tickle, tickle, tickle. What is that?
What is that?
You're saying
Tickle, 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 tickle. What are you trying to say? Tickle?
Yeah, man. You say
You're saying ticky 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 ticky.
Yeah.
close. It was.
I mean,
Well,
is there an appropriate way to say that?
It's
Don't you just say tickle? You
like
just say
a tickle,
tickle.
tickle, like tick, 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 tick.
oh.
You just say tickle faster.
You know what's
Well, it
funny?
sounds like you're just saying ticka, 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 ticka.
Well, it kind of gets to that point.
yeah. It's like it just morphs into something.
But you said like tinky, tinky. You added like the. You know what's funny though?
That's why I do the Oochie Goochie.
It must be.
That's why he does the oochie.
It's actually kind of funny because there was this like on I think it was TikTok, but there was this like kind of thing going around months ago where it says women and girls in general can't do the machine gun sound.
Oh.
You know the whole like.
Does this include women with penises?
Well, they're not real women, so
Well,
they
yeah,
can do
they
it.
can do it.
Oh, okay.
That should be the sex test.
I feel like everyone
You know?
has like a different sound they do though.
Well, yeah, but it's the tongue. You know when you put your tongue in your mouth
like
and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, women can't do it. Now, obviously, not all women can't do it, but I'm saying it was a thing where husbands were saying, "Hey," like to their wives or girlfriends or even daughters, like, "Hey, can you make a machine gun sound?" They're like, they don't know how to do it. It's kind of like the same thing with like the skipping
Well,
trend.
I feel like that's just a thing you grew up with, right? Because when we were kids, we're constantly playing war, army, and we just developed the ability to make a machine gun sound.
Well, true. And it's like, it's a skipping trend, right? Where a lot of men don't skip and they didn't growing up. So when people are making fun, like, hey, Bill, go skip across the room. Do you remember how to skip?
Oh, yes. Me and my wife actually did that, and I could skip just fine.
Yeah, and I have no problem skipping.
Can you skip, Greg?
Chris is gay. No, I don't know. I had no problem skipping, like, whatsoever. Like, I just freaking snapped right into that skip.
Well, I feel like I'm still a little kid in brain and heart. So
Sure.
I just don't forget.
Could you skip, Greg? Do you think you could actually skip properly?
Dude, I was pretty athletic, so yeah, I could skip. I could probably, skip to my loo. Whatever kind of skip you wanted me to do.
Skip to my loo, my darling.
It eventually could turn out to be like where, the police do like a sobriety test. It might get to the point someday where we have to know
skip.
like what sex you really are. And they give you challenges. Like, I need you to skip.
I need you to make a machine gun sound.
And it's like, yeah, Bill, he failed the skipping challenge. Okay.
Why wouldn't they just do one test and have you look up to the heavens and then see your Adam's apple?
Because they're starting to
look up, sir.
It's
there.
They're shaving it now.
I see it.
That's a new cosmetic procedure where I think they're like shaving that down. So like it's getting to a point where you're not going to know, but they'll say, ma'am, can you do a machine gun sound? And if they nail it,
it is ma'am.
She has a dick, Bill. She has a dick.
Come on, Chris. You got it.
It is ma'am.
It is ma'am.
Oh, ma'am. Where is it? I can't find it.
Oh, shit. Oh.
It is ma'am.
There it is.
It is ma'am.
No, that's fun, dude. That's fun. When you did that, it kind of reminded me of that, where it's like you don't do something for a long time. You think you know how to do it, but you actually haven't done it.
Yeah, it's like one of those, like, if you don't use it, you lose it situations.
Sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because, like, when I was younger, too, I used to be actually really good at drawing, and I can't really draw shit anymore because I just stopped doing it.
That's interesting.
Like, I can still draw a little bit, but nothing like I used to.
I mean, it's true. I mean, you kind of lose your, your gifts, if you will. But it could be rekindled.
Keep up on it, dude.
Could be rekindled.
Probably.
Just like riding a bike.
I feel like, though, when you're older, that kind of shit takes longer.
Yeah.
You know?
True that. Guys, before we get rolling, Greg likes to say this, review it up. You know what I'm saying?
Review it up, baby.
Rate, review all our new channels. Most of you guys listening obviously are already on those channels. But make sure you share the content as well, because it helps us get more people over and transitioned, and not in the way that you think. We're talking about for your ears, not for your genitals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The rebranding transition.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, I love reading the comments when people kind of describe when they first started listening to us, where it's like a personal comment of like what they liked about the show.
Sure.
Those are really heartwarming. I really like listening to those or reading those. I always say listen.
We need the listeners that are listening right now to do like a flash mob and just bombard everyone they see and tell them to listen to the Last Americans podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
everyone you
That'd be
see,
great.
say, you listen to the Last American podcast? Did you listen to it?
Just
Do you listen to it?
Don't take it too far, though. Don't like rob a bank and say, like, what do you want? And list of demands is like, listen to the Last Americans podcast.
Yeah, that's probably not
that's
the
true.
best.
Let's not kidnap or do anything crazy. Just tell a
don't
friend.
hold anybody hostage until
Yeah.
they listen.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
Don't
Just be
withhold
be
sex
like the
from your
bus
husband
driver.
or something, or your wife. You're like, I'm
Right.
not having sex with you. You listen to these boys.
There you go.
It's going to be a dry season for you. You know what I'm saying? But no, we appreciate all the reviews, the comments, and we want to make sure that everybody that used to listen on Pardon My American is getting over here and checking out the Last Americans. Same show, guys, different name. And we appreciate it. Like Greg said, he loves that toilet, reading. It's good stuff.
It's good quality time on the toilet. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do have some fun topics, though. We have quite a few good ones, actually. I don't know where you want to start, per se, but the damn one I thought was a new thing.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Damn.
I know. This one, unfortunately, is not as satisfying as a delicious burger, though. This is a problematic water issue in Ukraine, which I do have some questions about. I got to be honest with you. So basically, they quote, this is from Daily Mail, nothing will survive here. It's a little extreme.
That's extreme.
But we do know that dams, once they break, they do change the landscape.
They make a damn mess.
They make a huge damn mess. I like
Damn
that.
it.
Great. That was good job. So the entire Ukrainian villages vanish underwater as Russia blows up the Kakhovka Dam from the inside. From the inside, forcing thousands to abandon their homes. And it's the Kakhovka, I think that's how you say it, Kakhovka Dam near Kherson in southern Ukraine has suffered severe damage following several explosions. Tens of thousands of Ukrainians have been told to abandon their homes amid catastrophic levels of flooding. The dam provides critical cooling to the, now this one's going to throw me, Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant.
Moving on.
As well as drinking water.
Let's
to
say
Crimea.
just say Vapor Rub.
It's the Vapor
nuclear
Rub.
power plant.
I'm going to call it the Zap. Let's call it the Zap. Make
Okay,
it short
the
and
Zap.
sweet.
Yeah.
So that actually is a big thing, is that there is a nuclear plant nearby. And I have another article that we can go to in a second, but that was a big concern of, is this going to, like, what's it going to do to the nuclear plant? We saw in, I believe it was Japan, 2013-ish area, where they had that tsunami that actually interrupted the nuclear plant there, and it was close to becoming a new Chernobyl situation. I mean, it was real devastating. Is that part of the plan, right? This dam, Chris, you actually have the map on here. It shows, like, how much of an impact this thing has had. And what it was before and what it is now. And it's definitely, here it is. There's definitely some cities that there's fucking no way.
This is the before. And then this is the after.
So
Wow.
it's grown. It's not
A lot
huge.
of water.
Well, there's just,
I mean, it's definitely taken out, like, these middle cities in here.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For
And
sure.
even that one
Even
up there.
that one, yeah.
Yeah. And who
That's
knows?
a lot of cities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
downriver where. But yes, if you scroll up though, you see some of these. There's actually a White House 2.0 right here. Look at this motherfucker, dude. What is going on here? Why do they have the White House underwater? Is this a sign?
Oh, that's Joe Biden's set, dude.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like,
That's
is
where
this
he
where
was-
Joe
that's
Biden
where he-
is?
Or
That's
is
where he
it?
was shooting from when he was in the office of the president-elect. Remember that shit?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because Tyler Perry has one on his set. Remember?
Yeah, he
Tyler
was-
Perry has a White House, and then Kid Rock made his house like the White House, if I'm not mistaken, up on the hill, all gold and shit. So either way, I didn't know there was one in Ukraine. Kind of funny, I guess. If Joe Biden goes and spends money there and visits and stuff, he has a place that he can call home.
Yeah, right. He's paid for it.
But that, I mean, it's definitely underwater. Now, here's the other one. There's a picture of the explosion that says, what's it say right under here? An explosion is seen at the destroyed Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant in the occupied Kherson region of Ukraine, June 6, 2023. Chris pointed out, it's like, who was standing there taking photos at the time? Or is this it doesn't look like a CCTV video. That looks like a tank.
It could be. It could be like some sort of camera that fell over or something because it's like in the wilderness. You know what I mean?
Well, this is
strategically
on the
placed.
dam.
This is on the dam itself.
Yeah, this is the dam. Like, this is the stretch of land that goes between or across
I mean,
the
it
river.
does look dirty as shit everywhere. Almost
Yeah.
like,
What is that? A backpack? That's like in
oh,
the
maybe
photo?
you can see like strappage here, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a tank or a backpack or something. I mean, it looks.
I'm not
I don't know
sure.
if it's metal or fabric. It's kind of hard to tell.
And now, is that the actual explosion, or is that just like water spraying after it was exploded?
That's the water.
No,
spray.
apparently that's the water spray from the explosion.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like not just continuously spraying out like that, because that would make
No.
sense if it was causing the
No,
spray.
it
and
looks.
somebody
It's
comes
like
up.
it's like this right now.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
But the other, yeah. I guess
Okay.
it kind of looks like that's where the. Look how clean that break is, though, man. Isn't that
That's
weird?
a very clean break.
Yeah.
It's like the building they had it
Well,
separated already.
I'm sure it blew, and then a bunch of it like crumbled and like broke apart off of certain sections or something.
Yeah,
But
where it was structurally.
Yeah,
put together.
but it is like very straight edged right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a Lego set you just have.
Well, so what's your take on this, Dave?
Well, I have concerns, obviously, that like there is a power plant. They are saying they're concerned that if they're willing to take out the dam, which obviously flooded out tons of citizens, supposedly, right, that they would attack the nuclear plant. And apparently the nuclear plant, they went into a shutdown mode, in a cooling mode.
There's 4 of them, right?
4 or 5.
3 of them, or something like that. They said the 2 were already in a cool down mode, and the 1 was in a hot down.
Yeah, a hot shutdown.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
Shouldn't it be hot up? You know,
Yeah,
hot
I
up,
don't know
cool
the
down.
lingo. But when asked about it, they said everything's fine.
Yeah.
No problems.
No problems.
Nothing to be
It's under
concerned
control.
with. It's under control. That was the actual quote. It's under control, which I always go, is
Nikes.
it though? Is it really under control? Because we heard that Chernobyl, if you watch the series, they said It's under control.
That's what they said before everything
no
went
big
to
deal.
shit. Yeah.
But we know that
getcha.
it can be. What I'm concerned with is there potential to have a really bad situation happen? Because that's not good for anybody, especially the surrounding area. You know what I mean? And a waterway with drinking water.
Well, and,
So, did they say like Russia did this or
Yeah.
something? Like,
yeah,
of course.
Ukraine
Okay.
is blaming Russia. Yeah.
Yeah, of course they do.
Because I sent you an article, Chris, and I just found this from this morning from Yahoo Finance. Update to Kremlin. So this is update 2. And then Kremlin says Ukraine sabotaged the dam to cut Crimea's water, distract from its own failure. Now, it said the Kremlin on Tuesday accused Kiev of sabotaging the hydroelectric dam in the Russian-controlled part of Ukraine to cut off a key source of water for Crimea and distract attention from faltering counteroffensive against Russian forces. So the spokesman for the Kremlin, Dmitry Peskov, said, "We can unequivocally..." Oh, wait, that sucked. I can't do Russian, dude. But we can state unequivocally that we are talking about the deliberate sabotage by the Ukrainian side. All right, so he told reporters, the Kiev regime should bear full responsibility for all the consequences. He said that the destruction of the dam was intended to deprive Russian-controlled Crimea of the fresh water it receives from the reservoir via the North Crimean Canal and to distract attention from the counteroffensive.
So they're saying, so Russia's saying again, like Ukraine's doing this to, because they actually have strongholds in the area.
Well, and we've seen this before where Ukraine sabotaged its own, stuff. They were like putting counteroffensives or putting the automatic missile launchers in places like parks where children go.
Well,
So
and
that
we've
way
seen
when
too-
they explode and they counterattack them, they're saying, "Oh, look what Russia did. They blew up a park with kids in it."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, dude, you have like this automatic transition where you have a response system that's going to send missiles where the missiles came from. And so it's like that's just a way to do the weapon warfare.
Well, and we've seen too, like they shot missiles, they shot it off into Poland, right? They landed in Poland, and they're like, "Oh, Russia's shooting missiles into Poland now."
Yeah.
Well, that was your missile that you just shot off, and clearly you can't aim.
But I mean, isn't this just like war? I mean, you're talking about taking out strategic spots. We've seen this in like every movie in History Channel where they take out bridges, so there's transportation issues where they can't get their goods. I mean, dams, waterways, you're trying to like.
Yeah, even if Russia.
But who benefits from it though? That's what they're trying to say.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like this deprives Russian controlled land.
if Russia
like,
actually
part of
controls the land. Yeah. And I don't know, like they'll say,
Well, that's what they say.
that's what they're
That's what
saying.
I'm saying,
Yeah, I don't know what sections they own or like have control of, I should say. I don't know any of that. So
Well,
there's
I'm pretty
two
sure
takes.
they're in Crimea, and I'm pretty sure that that's why Ukraine is trying to fight, even though Crimea is one of those nation states, I guess, that voted. They want to be part of Russia.
Yeah.
So, and it's just one of those things where it's like Russia is winning this war, like no matter what. I don't think we know the truth, right? We don't really know exactly what's going on, but it's kind of obvious that we're spending another $300 million just last week.
Yeah.
Sent over to Ukraine. Like we've sent over billions of dollars, and it's doing nothing. Like they're still fighting.
That's the one take that I'm glad you brought that up. That's the one thing where, we've heard like Ukraine is like above and beyond, they're putting the fucking stiff arm to Russia, and Russia's trying to, propagate the whole thing as they're winning. But you see, like, they keep showing these like devastated cities because they're trying to sell, like, look how bad the war has done, what it's done to Ukraine. These cities are just wiped out, supposedly.
Yeah. Well, doesn't that mean you're losing?
Yeah, and then on top of it, it's like we've seen some records saying that the death, in this war has been very like misconceived. That it's actually a lot more Ukrainians dying than what they had said there were. And then on top of it, like what you're saying, it's just the whole thing is, why are we sending money if they're doing such a great job?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and that's the thing is like if you're tricking people, if you're doing this big, kind of movie play, and you're trying to say Ukraine's winning, all that stuff, like what would put it past you for them to blow up their own dam and blame it on Russia?
True that. Can you go back to that article real fast that Greg brought? I wanted to point something out real quick. Look at the name who wrote this. What a great man name, dude. It's
Guy Falconbridge.
Yeah, dude. What a name. That sounds like something out of a Marvel universe.
Where's his name?
Scroll up.
My name is Guy Falconbridge.
Bye.
I'm here to report the
Guy
news, sir.
Falconbridge. It's such an aggressive name,
Yeah,
dude.
it sounds like a superhero.
Damn. Literally. Damn.
Damn.
No, I think it's listen. I'm not trying to dive into the war scenario, but I do think like when you start talking about nuclear plants, it kind of starts to raise up the antennas a little bit because I feel like it could be used. And this is where I'll leave it. I feel like it can be a talking point in the next couple of weeks where they say, "Shit, this is not under control like we thought it was," and now it becomes a national thing. And hey, we actually need to have more money go over there because this could turn out to be Chernobyl-like. And all of a sudden, it's a selling point for cash.
Well, dude, and that was actually a selling point a couple months ago when the Ukrainian forces were pretty much putting all of their army around nuclear ports, and like they were saying Russia's going to attack the Ukrainian forms or the Ukrainian army. They're all at the nuclear bases, so they could actually take out some of the nuclear bases. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like it is kind of that crooked part of warfare where you go, okay, I'm going to go stand by a nuclear reactor, and if they want to take me out, they're going to have to blow up this fucking reactor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also you like want to protect those because they're a huge. This is the largest power plant in Europe.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why it's a pretty significant thing to talk about because this is supposedly one of the largest power plants in Europe, if not the largest power plant.
But if you're Ukraine, and let's just say like you have nothing to lose,
you could say
know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You're going, hey, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna take this whole fucking ship down with me.
Well, I mean, you're gonna protect it. It's supposedly your territory, even though that's debatable, right? But it's supposedly your territory. I mean, I think it's like foolish because if they just go in there and start taking over the power plant, now they have control of an avenue of energy. You know what I'm saying? And that's a huge loss for them. So you're going to defend it, but the problem is to your point, Greg, it's such a detrimental thing that like if it was to explode, it would be tragic for everybody around. So it's kind of this weird catch-22 of like, I know what you're saying, but how do you not defend it, right? If that was one of ours, we would have military around it trying to defend it as well. Because you certainly don't want them controlling that energy.
For sure. But I'm just saying, like, it limits the military response. So it limits Russia from sending over a missile. Like, they have to send men. Like, you have to do hand-to-hand combat down there.
Well, I mean, you just can't hit where the reactor is. You know what I mean? So if there are people inside, but, you could destroy the area around it. You know what I'm saying? But you just can't hit that area where the reactors are. And I don't know where that is.
It's always like in those movies when they are like shooting. I think there was actually a scene like that in the movie. You ever see the movie Broken Arrow? With John Travolta.
Loved it.
That's such a good movie. And they're like having a shootout, and he's like, "Stop shooting at the nuclear warhead."
Yeah. Good old John Travolta.
Oh gosh,
man! I think
Christian Slater was in that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I don't think I remember that. But
you don't remember that?
I mean, I've probably seen it. I can't put an image to it.
It's like they crash land like a jet holding a nuclear weapon, and then it's John Travolta's character trying to steal it and like hold it for ransom and stuff.
They crash it on purpose so that way they can steal it.
I bet somebody wishes they had Steven Seagal over here, or maybe like I don't know, name any old action. They can stop this nuclear, like Rambo.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Rambo would stop this for sure.
Chuck Norris,
single-handedly.
Send Chuck Norris to Ukraine.
Norris. Well, the war would be over if Chuck Norris got there. You know what I'm saying? Like the Russians would just stop. They'd say, "We can't fight this, dude."
Chuck just lands on a takes one step off a plane and goes, "I said enough." Stomps his foot and the whole war stops.
He just sticks his finger in the fucking hole from the from the missile and just stops all of it from no problems at all, dude.
I said no.
God, dude. No, it's a serious story right now, obviously, and this is war, unfortunately, and I'm not taking sides right now. But this is part of war. This is the unfortunate shit that like whoever did it doesn't take away from the fact that there are villages and small cities that are getting fucking destroyed right now.
But it would be really fucked up if Ukraine did it to themselves.
I would not be shocked.
I would
because
not be
like Oracle said, it blew it from the inside.
Yeah, that
Granted, if that was an area controlled by Russia, then they would be able to get inside.
True.
But why would they also flood out themselves?
To make it look like
Optics.
Russia did it to them, so they can get more money.
No,
Yeah,
if Russia already had control of that area, why would they flood themselves?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, because I think that there's optics to it, and you could say the same thing with Ukraine, right? They could say like they destroyed, we have control, they destroyed it. You guys need to quit, saying that Ukraine's some savior. They're killing people as we speak right now. So there's optic on both sides.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. It's interesting. It's something to keep your eye on because anytime nuclear power plant and that kind of stuff, man, you got to keep your eye on that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be a turning point if it does get to a point where they're concerned about the plant. That's where I'll leave it. So
Yeah, it's fear mongering, that's for sure.
for sure, man. What do you got?
I do want to kind of provide an update on this FBI document
Oh,
that
yeah.
James Comer
Sure.
and the House committee is trying to receive and kind of go over, that FD 1023 or whatever the hell it
Yeah, I
was.
seen him come out yesterday and do that little speech after their little hearing
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yep.
So I got an article and I also bookmarked the video of him speaking speaking about it. FBI confirmed that the document alleging Biden engaged in $5 million bribery scheme is from a highly credible informant. Okay, so James Comer on Monday said that the FBI again refused to hand over the Biden bribery document. But he also said that he reviewed the key document as well and asked the FBI to hand over the record to the custody of the House Oversight so that others can review it as he continues this investigation into the Biden crime family. But here's the deal. It's like he came out and what he said is that the informant is a highly credible informant who's been working for the FBI for years,
Yeah.
made like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So just listen to what he says on this bookmark Twitter video. It's very interesting. So give some clout to the informant, the whistleblower.
Yeah.
FBI officials confirmed that the unclassified FBI-generated record has not been disproven and is currently being used in an ongoing investigation. The confidential human source who provided information about then Vice President Biden being involved in a criminal bribery scheme is a trusted, highly credible informant who has been used by the FBI for over 10 years and has been paid over six figures. These are facts, and no amount of spin and frankly lies from the White House or congressional Democrats can change this information. At the briefing, the FBI again refused to hand over the unclassified record to the custody of the House Oversight Committee, and we will now initiate contempt of Congress hearings this Thursday. Given the severity and complexity of the allegations contained within this record, Congress must investigate further. Americans have lost trust in the FBI's ability to enforce the law impartially and demand answers, transparency, and accountability. The investigation is not dead. This is only the beginning.
Okay. I noticed his hair. Like, that comb job is nuts, bro. He starts from the very back of his head and combs straight down. Like, it's like a
Oh, dang.
Trump-esque almost. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, he's trying to cover up some stuff, you know?
Yeah, no, it's interesting, man. Like, we talked a little about it before the show, you know? I don't.
The important part is that confidential human source, the CHS, goes back even into the Obama administration. Okay, so we're talking about this guy has been trusted by the Obama administration FBI.
Yeah.
We're still using him, and so it's like, okay, well, if you didn't trust him back then, like, why would we not trust this guy? You know, that's the question.
Yeah. If he's been trusted with information through several presidencies and several FBI arrangements of whoever's in charge or anything like that, and you've been continuously paying him for information this whole time, why all of a sudden, if you were on the other side of this, would he not be credible?
What I could see, though, and I did think about this, is the Mike Lindell effect. Remember when he came out with his symposium and it fell flat?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He claimed all of these things about voter fraud and all this stuff, and he claimed that he had all this evidence, but you find out that the chief provider of all of the evidence was some sort of informant or he was paid to lie. Right? So it's like the information that Mike Lindell was putting out was not correct.
Yeah.
And it made him look like a liar. And so now, or at least not a liar, but just inept in what he was trying to sell the public, right? So now what I could see is maybe they're trying to by this whistleblower to set up a story just to knock it down. You know what I mean? Kind of like the Mike Lindell thing.
Well, then you'd have to go back and you'd have to like look at the documentation on what information has been given from this informant that has led to actual results. Then you could be like, okay, well, the information
Not
he gives
necessarily. You could totally disconnect his past and what he's done for the previous administrations. Like, what if he's an Obama loyalist, and Obama's team came up to him and said, "Hey, look, we want you to go out there and say you got all this information on Biden, and then we're going to set it up, and they're going to investigate it. They're going to come out with all these allegations, but then you're going to have to come out and say, hey, look, I lied on this, this, and this, and then we'll just knock the whole fucking thing down."
They don't even have to do
waste
that.
Of time.
They don't even have to come out and say that, Greg, because they have this anonymity to them. They don't have to share who they are and shit.
Yeah.
And you even saw with that one informant who they said, yeah, we don't know where he's at. He's actually a spy, and that's what spies do is they just take off. So they give you information and you never hear from him again. Like this man could literally just stop speaking.
Yeah.
And they could just use what they have. But I'm not as sold, honestly, for me personally. I'm not like, yes, he worked for the FBI for a long time. That shows that he worked there.
Well, he didn't really work there. They just bought information.
He worked for him. Yeah, he was an informant.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't, to me, it's not like, I need more than that still. Like it's a positive that he was an informant or worked with the FBI. But like, I mean, don't we kind of realize that most white whistleblowers, they are
Freudian slip there.
White whistleblowers.
Most white blowers.
Don't most of them work in the field that they say they work in? You know what I mean? Like, or that they're talking about. I mean, we have another article later that's going to be about UFOs. Same situation. The guy was, in the Navy. He clearly worked for that. I mean, is that shocking that he spent 15 years or 10 years working with him? I mean, does that surprise you?
No. I mean, but it's not surprising. But the fact that he was trusted with information for so long kind of gives it some credibility, right?
Well, I mean,
the
FBI has 37,000 employees. Most have some form of clearance, right? And all of those aren't just like Democrat, Republican, or good or bad. You know what I mean? Like they're a whole concoction.
But just because you're an informant doesn't mean, like I said, doesn't mean you work for the FBI. It doesn't mean you have clearance. They're just buying information from you.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying you can still do your job and like give good information to the FBI for all these years and get paid to do so, and still like
all of a sudden decide to lie.
Yeah,
well, so now here's
that's
my
that's what we're talking about.
I have a question about like, what does the whistleblower gain from this? Besides like, integrity and clout and all of this, like fluff and stuff. Like you're an FBI whistleblower, but you're also a paid informant for over 10 years. I'm assuming you like what you're doing because you've done it for 10 years.
Sure.
So what do you have? What is the incentive for you to become a whistleblower?
I don't know. I mean, it's not recognition because I don't know that they'll ever even show who this person is.
Right. So that's where I was like saying, what if they were paid by the opposite side to set this whole story up, and then they come out and say, hey, guess what? We find out that's fake news, bro.
There's that, or I mean,
that is an option. I mean, that's obviously a possibility.
To Chris's point, like there's also the possibility that like he wants to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And because we've seen people say like, hey, listen, I got paid well from this job, but I can't continue to do this because it's a lie and it's going to hurt something X, Y, and Z. And so you just stop. So those are the two avenues.
There are honest people out there.
There are some. Yeah. There's people that like,
true.
You have a conscience, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy I just watched who like murdered somebody 14 years ago and just walked into the police station and said, I killed somebody 14 years ago, and just started bawling. Like people live with certain things and they can't live with them for so long. And so maybe that's what it is. But to Greg's point, there's a good chance that he could be spewing false information to kind of lead down a different path.
Yeah.
Now, the document is another thing, though. Okay? So you have the whistleblower, okay, whatever. Like, this guy could be lying. But the document is there.
And it's real.
It's unclassified, and it's proof of something happening, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So we just got to observe that. Like the whistleblower thing, like, I just don't trust whistleblowers.
I don't either.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, obviously, like, the document actually existing and being real, and Comer looked at it himself, like, gives even more credibility that the whistleblower was just like, yeah, this is fucked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the two go hand in hand.
Because the whistleblower
right?
isn't giving information. He's on this case at least, he's just saying, yeah, there's a document that I have seen that portrays this is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it alleges the Joe Biden.
So it's really just there was a document found, and he's not really giving secret information.
It's just tough when there's no listen, I understand that for the protection of the person, right? That you have to keep them secret, at least to the public and stuff. Because I'm sure a lot of agents know who this guy is or have heard who it was. You know, people on the inside have heard who it was. So I understand that keeping somebody safe and their family safe is very, very important. But at the same time, when you can just say stuff and not face a consequence for it, right? So if I just come out and say I'm an informant and I start, granted there was a real document, right? But let's say in other examples, and I start saying things, and we've seen this with the Trump era where quote unquote informants are just making claims that he's doing X, Y, and Z and saying shit on the phone.
Yeah.
You don't face any consequences. Nobody sees who you are. So you could be lying out your teeth, and at the end of the day, they'll be mad at you, but the world won't know that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And so there's part of me that wishes that, hey, in order to come out, you have to, if you have the balls to step up and say, this is going on behind closed doors, maybe you should have the balls to say, I'm willing to show my face, just like victims of crime, when they go to court and they show their face in court. It's a huge statement.
Yeah.
Well, and it actually probably would protect you a lot more, too, because people would, your face, your name, like if you're a whistleblower, I think that's why Zach Voorhees came out, because he's like, dude, I went against Google and I wanted to make sure my face and my name's out there so people know that, hey, I'm alive. And if anything happens to me,
they'll know.
It'll be investigated. You know what I mean?
Dude, great point. That's a great point.
Yeah. People know who you are. They'll notice if you're missing.
Yeah.
And there is a story right now, like Anna Paulina Luna, right? The hot ass fucking congresswoman.
Sure.
She's saying that the FBI whistleblower is afraid of their life being taken from them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, why wouldn't
you?
you?
So they're scared. Exactly, right? So that's my point, too, is like, what does this person have to gain from this? You work for the FBI, like as an informant. You're going against the Biden administration, who admittedly has like deep state coverage within the FBI.
Yeah.
They probably know who you are because you've been there for 10 years. I mean, this is limiting the amount of employees that you can filter this down to.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, why would you not just come out and just be like, hey, yes, I'm the guy, and I'm in protective custody. If anything happens to me, it's not of my doing.
You're right. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. And that's the thing, is like, if he was just an informant and wasn't actually on the FBI payroll,
well, and they
could easily get rid of him.
The only way the other way would work too is not giving up your identity. Is how, if they didn't know who the whistleblower was, there would be no way of actually finding you, because they don't know.
But you wouldn't disclose any information like that. The fact that they came out saying that he was highly credible and been working for the FBI for 10 years.
Yeah,
you would never say that.
Yeah, there's probably limited people that are like that. So you have like a list of, okay, who's been an informant for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Who had access to these
It's
documents.
like, guess who? You know what I mean? Does your player have brown hair?
Yeah.
You basically knock down all the blondes.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, well, now all the brown people are remaining, or brown-haired people are remaining. Sorry.
What was
And now all the brown people remain.
Brown-haired people. You know what I'm saying?
I said white, you say brown.
Hey,
Hey, man.
there we go.
I think it's on a realistic format, I think this is a good step forward. I told Chris before the show, I said, I'm not like putting a lot on this shit. Like they're saying like it's real. I'm like, well, anytime I hear like informant or, a secret person or something, it just kind of throws up I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say what you have. At this point, you're not sharing information about this guy, so I don't care. So it's a good step in the right direction to continue looking into this. Chris, a couple days ago, you said like the FBI actually gave up the document. They didn't. They just said that you can come view it. Like they said they were going. Remember, they said if you want to see it, you have to come here.
Well, he viewed it himself, so he has it in their hand, in their possession now.
So they didn't give up the document. They're still fighting for that, for everybody to see. But they said if you want to see it.
Yeah. So Comer went to the FBI building and viewed the document, and then left the building and left the document inside of the building. And
so I don't know if it's unclassified. I don't really understand the issue here.
Whistleblower is one step above anonymous source to me.
It is. Some people would argue that, but I agree with you, man, 100%. It's just like, okay, well, what did the anonymous source say? And then what can you do to prove that source is accurate? And so that's the same situation we're in now. Like, just because he worked with the FBI doesn't mean that he's immediately legitimate. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some crooked we've seen this in history, crime people that do stuff for the FBI that you wouldn't trust with your child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So at the same time, it's like, it's good. It's a positive step forward, but like, that doesn't just immediately say this guy's a great guy and we should trust everything he says. That to me, that doesn't mean that, but it does call for more.
So what do you think happens with the whole contempt of Congress thing that they're doing on Thursday?
Nothing. Dude, it's either Ray's going to get fired or he's not. And I don't think that they have any grounds to fire Ray.
Because I looked up what actually happens if someone is held in contempt of Congress, and it can either refer the case to the U.S. attorney for a possible indictment or have the witness detained by the sergeant at arms.
So the U.S.
the latter is
Attorney
rarely
General?
used. I think so. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's Merrick Garland. You think Merrick Garland's going to get rid of Ray?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't think
And
so.
then if
no.
what did it say here?
That last part right there, each contempt of Congress count is reportedly punishable by 1 month to 1 year behind bars and a fine of, are you ready for this fine? $100 to $100,000.
Oh, what, the window?
Like, a traffic ticket is more than $100, guys. Come on, man. Like,
$100.
Ray,
can you imagine?
Give me $100 and call it good. It's kind of ridiculous, right?
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
It probably all depends on what you're caught lying about, obviously. But
oh man,
like if you lied about an address or something, obviously they're not going to fine you $100,000.
Yeah,
I get you.
I mean, we'll see.
Since we're talking about whistleblowers, you guys want to talk about the next whistleblower in the UFO?
Man. Yeah, I think it's actually, it's interesting. It's it's kind of like what we've talked about before, but you have a guy coming out saying that he knows more than others. So go ahead, Greg. What's yours say? I got a different article than you, so.
Well, so this is from Timcast. That says intelligence whistleblower says U.S. government has retrieved craft of new non-human origin.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, we've heard this before.
So this is David Charles Grush. He's a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, is acting as a whistleblower and says the information on these programs has been illegally withheld from Congress. And his disclosures reveal that for decades, the U.S. government, acting in concert with allies and defense contractors, has recovered intact vehicles and partially intact vehicles, quote, of exotic origin, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin, based on the vehicle morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. Wow-o. But yeah, we have heard this before because there's a bookmark video that I have of Tucker Carlson back in 2020, July of 2020, where he's saying, we have this evidence now of this report where we have these crafts that humans didn't make, or they're not of this earth, unquote. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No. So kind of like Bob Lazar shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Except Bob Lazar actually said he worked on them. Like, was working.
Bob Lazar.
So you have the video here?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is from July 2020.
This is Tucker Carlson when he was talking about the disclosure of a craft that they found. The Pentagon was talking about something not of this earth. And that was a quote.
This is a Fox News alert. There are new findings tonight in the search for extraterrestrial life. The New York Times reporting that a secretive Pentagon unit tasked with investigating UFO sightings is quite likely releasing some of its findings soon. And those findings could be stunning, particularly for people who have doubted the existence.
So we've looked at this before.
The Pentagon has been conducting classified hearings on UFOs for more than a decade.
This is just a reminder.
We know very little about what they've found.
Okay.
But apparently,
Does he say it on here?
Are
back towards the end.
Vehicles not made on this earth. That's a direct quote. We're not exactly sure what they mean by that.
Yeah, you can stop it. You can stop it.
He just
off-world vehicles not made of
chill
this
the
earth.
fuck out.
Yeah, he is just. So what you're saying is he's admitting that there is an agency that's looking into this, right?
This whistleblower?
No, Tucker is just reiterating that there is like this agency that's checking this stuff out.
Yeah.
I actually deleted the article that I initially had for this. So we'll just use what Greg has. But so this guy comes out and says what? Like that he's worked for this, was it the Air Force?
Yeah, he said that the UFO programs have been concealed within multiple agencies nesting unidentified aerial phenomenon activities in conventional secret access programs, SAPs, without appropriate reporting to various oversight authorities.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't aware that like this stuff, like the black budget activities, needed to be reported to oversight authorities, like at all.
I don't know if they all do. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's some secret shit going around, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some money
the
that's
point of it,
backdoored.
right?
Yeah.
You know, the black budget's there to be secretive.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, I don't know.
I saw the interview with the guy, and he was basically saying that like he wasn't all into this until he had other ranking members coming to him saying like, no, we definitely have them. They're there 100%. He's like, I started getting more and more people. And then he was asked by whoever was interviewing him this was the one from just yesterday, day before. And yeah, I mean, he just said that people were coming to him and they were making claims. And he said, do they have bodies? And he said, well, if you have a crash thing, then obviously you'd find a deceased pilot as well. And we do have those, even though it's shocking to hear. So, I mean, it's one of those things.
Bodies?
Yeah, man. I mean,
well, so in this article is so you have this David Spergel. He's the chair of the study group and former member of the NASA Advisory Council. So he says, quote, to make the claim that we've seen something that is evidence of non-human intelligence, it would require extraordinary evidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he says, and we have not seen that. I think that's important to make clear. But there was, right below this, it says evidence submitted by Grush to Congress and the ICIG would directly contradict public statements made by numerous U.S. officials who have consistently maintained the government has no knowledge of vehicles of non-human origins.
That's interesting. And so that's what I want to see, right? Same thing with the last whistleblower we were just talking about. It's easy to come out and say that X, Y, and Z is happening, but until you actually show and we see some evidence that it is real, it's hard to like take it very far. You know what I'm saying? Because we've already had millions of people have had this discussion already. You know what I'm saying? That the government's hiding something. This guy's coming out seemingly affirming that, but if he has documents that proves that people are, because he said that in the interview, that this is a huge lie to the American people and the people of the world.
Yeah.
And that we have the right to know this kind of stuff if it exists.
Well, if is government agencies that have this kind of stuff, why would they tell this David Spergel guy who sits on NASA? Why
is he on NASA?
He was formerly of a NASA guy.
Yeah.
Like, why would he be included if he's not part of that branch that obviously has this stuff?
I think the way he worded it was like friends.
I know, but that's why you say we have not seen that. Well, yeah, NASA may not have seen that stuff, but that doesn't mean there are other factions of secret stuff in the government that have.
That is partially,
exactly.
I can see that.
Yeah, and that's why this Grush whistleblower is speaking about the black budgets. The debrief spoke. So the debrief is from this article, right?
Yeah.
Or originally where this article came from. Spoke with multiple professional associates of Grush who vouched for his credibility, reiterating that the evidence of the materials from craft of non-human origin being hidden in top secret black programs is a highly sensitive matter.
I want Chris to like try to find see if there's like a clip from his interview on Twitter here, like Grush, Grusch. Because there was some pretty interesting stuff. And to be fair, he actually was out doing interviews and shit, right? So, the whole principle of like, you look like a crazy person if you talk about this kind of stuff. He's kind of putting himself out there to like come across as
he's
the
actually
crazy
showing
guy.
his face on
He
stuff.
is showing his face. No, there's like I don't know if you'll see it. Yeah, go down. I think that this one is here.
This one?
Yeah, let's see what this. It's only 26 seconds. Let's see what this clip is here. I have no idea what it is, but let's find it. This was the interview. News Nation.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
That's pretty confident.
Quite a number.
Quite a number of them, actually.
I don't know, man. He seems kind of.
Well, listen, I mean,
You never know.
Here's
People
the
are
deal.
different.
I'll say this like I said a minute ago, to the point of what we had just talked about, right? He has his face out there. He could make money from this, so you have to take that into consideration, right? All these interviews, he's an insider. He can get some money for these interviews, so there is possible cash. You know what I'm saying? Some enrichment of himself. And at the same time, though, if you really did work for NASA, were on the board for so many years, you were also a veteran for X amount of years. You have
so
friends.
this guy didn't work for NASA.
Oh, this is not. So the other guy was.
Grush,
so this dude,
David Spergel did. Yeah.
Does your article say what he was? Because in mine, I thought it said that he was. It wasn't NASA. And that's why when you said NASA,
Yeah,
I was
he's a
mixed up
veteran
there.
of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, and he's a also a veteran of the National Reconnaissance Office.
Okay.
So NGA and NRO.
But it said he was highly decorated.
This Grush guy.
Yeah, this Grush guy. So what my point is yes, you can get some enrichment from this by doing interviews, right? But at the same time, if you were lying, you're tarnishing your name that you've been working at I imagine most of his career, correct? So like, what, would that be worth it to have a little bit of cash in the next couple days doing interviews to have your whole name tarnished going forward? Because he doesn't look that old.
I don't know if I've ever heard of whistleblowers getting paid to do interviews, but I mean, maybe somebody would pay him to disclose information.
Well, I mean, if you have an exclusive interview, like, yes, you can get paid for that. Absolutely. Be the only one to talk about it.
We want an exclusive interview from you. We'll give you $50,000 if you come do an interview only with us.
I just don't know. It just, again, this is a long ways away from finding out what's going on. Like, how do you handle this, like, going forward? Like, he says that he has this information. Do you actually have a hearing about it? Is it actually brought up in seriousness? Or let's be real, is this take a back seat to the Biden situation? That's, obviously taking up a lot of the hearings and stuff right now.
Well, dude, and that's what I wanted to say is like this UFO stuff is not going away.
No,
right? So they're keeping this stuff in the news seemingly for a reason. And I think it's a distraction away from the Bidens and the corruption that all of this other stuff is coming out about. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but I mean, the UFO stuff has been in the news for decades.
But right now, it's like they're trickling it along. Like all of a sudden, we have this whistleblower who's saying we have non-human craft. There's no evidence yet, right? You just have these whistleblowers and the claim. It's kind of like going head and head with the whistleblowers over at Biden. Like we don't have the document yet, but we have the whistleblower statements and all this stuff.
Yeah, my only combative remark to that would be like, we love UFOs, right? We love the idea behind them and the discussion about it, whether they're real, fake, all that stuff, right? I mean, we really enjoy it. And yet we still talk about what's going on with like the Biden situation, like it doesn't have to be a one and all. So a distraction to me seems like it's not a great distraction because we're talking about it now, but tomorrow when something comes out about Biden, for example, if it did, we would be immediately talking about that. And most people are fascinated with UFOs, and whether you believe them or not, they're fascinating. And so the idea is that they'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Like, we need to know more about that. But that doesn't mean they're going to be like, no, don't talk about Biden. I'm fully interested in UFOs, only UFOs. That's why, like, to me, unless it's like an invasion, which I know you brought up before. Like, I don't.
The blue beam, bro. Well, and that's the thing is like as soon as the big C little V ended, we had this Russia-Ukraine war, and it just went back to back. Just like with Trump's impeachment, when that ended, it went right into big C little V. And so it's like you have these major events bleeding into another major event. And so I'm wondering if we're going to have some sort of alien event, UFO event, that will be the next big kind of bleeding into the next big event.
Or are we contradicting like what we even think, right? Like to a sense, like when 2020 happened, right? And going forward, we've discussed multiple times, all of us, that like people started to look into things more. They started to question things more. And now that that's over, right? The whole COVID era kind of is seemingly over. Isn't that what we talked about people doing, is like looking into things in other areas that may be questionable? So wouldn't this just show that there's progression of people going, you know what, if that was a lie, what about the UFO situation?
Yeah,
and all of a sudden there's a need for it and people want to know.
Once you're on the pursuit of information, you don't stop being on the pursuit of information.
Yeah, there's rabbit holes you're always going down. Yeah. So it's not shocking that whether it was UFOs or whether it was, what Russia does or anything, that people continue down that path.
For sure. I would say that this constitutes like a little bit higher origin of just not just people digging themselves and like be an investigative kind of mode, like the public. Like these are whistleblowers who actually work with intelligence agencies. They work with geospatial intelligence agencies. They work on a national level. You know what I mean? So I mean, I guess like maybe you could have those people going through like this awakening process, I guess, where they're like, oh yeah, we should like be exposing this stuff, you know?
I wonder if it's going to be like, what if it's not like everyone's talking about like they're going to fake like an alien invasion. They're just hoping that the realization that it is a real thing is a big enough kind of thing.
Disclosure of it.
Yeah, well, like a huge fucking like. I mean, what would the majority of the population? How would they react to actual aliens and spaceships being here, like actually being real, and it's not just this some fun thing we see in the movies?
Yeah, I think it would be big, dude.
Let me give an analogy real quick. Just because last night I was looking at, because you guys know I collect baseball cards and stuff, right? And I was looking at grading systems. This does make sense to this, trust me. There was an interview that I watched with one of the grading companies, okay, and they were talking about people cutting cards and like cleaning cards and cutting them to make them better and having them graded. And there's like this huge thing about like that is a huge no-no. Like they should be original, authentic, right? And the guy who works for the company came out and said, our standard is we throw those out immediately. We don't grade them because we don't want those on the market. But he said, as far as like polishing cards and cleaning them, he said, if the movement, the card trading community decides that they're okay with it, that we would actually consider changing the rule and allowing that to happen. Now, why do I say that? Because to what I'm trying to say, if more people in the public are acknowledging this and looking into it and okay with it and understanding that it is possible and it is real to them, then maybe these people are going, hey, this is a good time to release this information, because now finally, because what was the argument? The argument has always been, to Chris's point, that the average person is not going to be okay with the idea that we're not alone in this universe. Yeah. And so there was a fear concern that people would, the world would just explode with crime and stuff because they, and religion would lose itself and all this other crap. But if people are actually saying like, no, I actually believe that there's aliens out there, then it makes it easier to come out with this information and feel like you're not destroying, what is built on this earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's like you're programming people through culture and through ideas and through movies and through music and all this stuff, right? So you're saying, okay, you're introducing the idea. It just same thing with transgenderism, dude. It's like you're introducing this idea that leads down a road to where, like, what will the end of transgenderism bring? And some people argue that pedophilia will be wrapped up inside of that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, well, no, I don't know. I can see that, but then I can't.
See, but this, what I don't understand and what I'm having a hard time with, and this isn't just exclusive to like UFO conversation, right? For decades, people have been saying, why will the government not start talking about this? It's a very important thing. There's documentation that it exists. Mm-hmm. There's people taking video. There's people that are eyewitnesses. There are people in the government. There's actual bases around the world that has had issues with, UFOs flying over nuclear bases, right? And then when the government does come out and say, yeah, we do have this video that we have and we don't know what this is, then everybody goes, PSYOP, man, this is all, the government, this is the big plan. I don't understand, like, do you want the government to acknowledge it or do you not want them to acknowledge it? Because the minute that they do, everybody says, it's a fake alien invasion, man. This is a huge cover up. It's a huge, like, they're just trying to, and it's like, what do you want? Exactly.
And then to your point, though, as far as like, are people ready for this? Are they not ready for this? Like in this article, it says separately, Nick Pope, a former head of the UFO office of the UK's Ministry of Defense, agreed, telling the Post, some objections to the study and release of the information about non-human vehicles are due to people believing the craft are demonic. Quote, their belief seems to be studying UFOs would thus give energy to attention-seeking demons, which should be avoided. This view comes in part from biblical description of Satan as, quote, the prince of power of the air.
Well, and here's the truth. I think with religion...
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I haven't either, but...
That he's the prince of the power of the air?
Me neither.
But at the same time, like anything... I mean, we know this, right? Like, I have nothing against religion. I think it's a positive thing when done right. You know what I'm saying? But you also understand that, like, anytime something comes up, like, there are certain factions of society that just says, like, this is demonic, satanic. If it doesn't really fit that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Religious people.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, you know, if an alien was to come here, and let's say the government eventually said, yes, God dang it, we have fucking 20 UFOs. And we have 15 bodies.
You made me say it.
Like, I can't hold it in. The cat's out of the bag now. That whole thing.
Spill the beans.
They could come out and say, like, yeah, like we, you know, hypothetical, obviously. They could say, like, this is the region of the universe that they come from. This is how long they've been in existence. This is what their technology is. Do you think that would suffice religious people from saying, like, oh, this is a demon? Or would they consider it a demon still? You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about spiritual when you're talking about devil and demons here. So if you have an origin, like, does that?
I think they would trust the Bible over human being.
100%.
So if the Bible is saying one thing, that's going to be their source of truth.
Yeah.
And if a human being comes out and tries to convince them otherwise, then that person is either acting under the force of or in favor of the demonic force.
Yeah. And I get it. We have followers that believe that for sure. We've heard it. And no one knows, right? Like, there's no way to prove it or anything, but it would be interesting to me.
You know what I'm predicting right now?
Oh, you're making a prediction.
I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Is this like a bet? Are we betting?
I'm not going to give an actual, like, time frame.
Smart move.
But I am going to say sometime in the near future, I can imagine us having a huge technological and industrial revolution again.
Okay.
And I say that based on, like, just what people have said. Like, they've been coming out with this stuff more and more. We have this technology. We have all this stuff. We have all this stuff. And then you have people like Trump on his campaign saying we're going to have these highly advanced cities that they're going to build.
Yeah,
what makes you think all of a sudden now we're just going to have highly advanced cities, unless you know stuff is being held back that we're going to capitalize on later.
Yeah, flying cars.
I mean, I feel like it's a kind of a reach a little bit, because I feel like we could have highly advanced cities right now. Just like with the technology that we have, it's not used in cities the way that we use it, like, personally.
Yeah, but I mean, just look at the last, like, industrial revolution. It went from, like, fucking wagons and shit to the way we're driving around now real quick.
Sure, but it also, like, the technology boom with, like, the internet and how that all's progressed was a very fast advancement.
That's what I'm saying. So if that technology actually started getting released, that they have been on hold this whole time, the amount, the pace in which that's going to affect everyday life is going to be insane.
It depends. Yeah. See, I get what you're saying, but I would just say they've had some of these things for decades, and there's already some people out there in the world arguing that, like, you know, the reason we have fiber optics is because of spacecraft. Yeah. You know, there's crashes, and all of a sudden we have this new technology.
And you think they've had this for decades, so they've been able to take
reverse engineer
and
shit,
implement it into things we can use every day.
I think, like, we've already done that. I believe that we already done that in a lot of ways. Now, propulsion is something that I don't know yet if that's real. It has to be all real, right? We're talking strictly that there are UFOs.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Lazar coming out saying, like, they were trying to reverse engineer propulsion.
Yeah.
And obviously, if they could figure out how that worked, anti-gravity machines and stuff would be game-changing for power, right? Because if you have a whole force that now you have anti-gravity vehicles that literally can zip all over the place, no one's touching that on this earth. You know what I'm saying? If you were the first to have it and the only to have it, you would dominate this earth, literally. So I don't know that we have
I feel like the UFOs are our government's black budget projects, and I feel like we have that propulsion technology available. And I don't know what it uses, but if it's anti-gravity and it doesn't require gasoline or very little, I mean, you're talking about getting rid of a major energy market. Electricity, gas, I mean, all of that. You wouldn't need that if you had this propulsion thing. I mean, maybe electricity, but...
No, but you could end up building, like, a generator that runs off that propulsion system.
Exactly, right? So gasoline goes bye-bye. You have a bunch of big wigs that make a shitload of money off that, so you'd have to introduce that smartly, where people aren't just trying to kill you because it's like,
but most
you're
people
going
would
to take away their family fortune.
Yeah, most people would accept it though, right? If you actually had a form of energy that worked.
Unless you're the one making.
Unless you're the one
that
making it. Yeah, it's the same with the wood industry compared to hemp. You know what I'm saying? Like what they say about certain products to keep it from, the sugar industry put a lot of money into having people, gulp down sugar, to make a lot of money, even though it's bad for you technically, right? Yeah. So I get it. But like if you're talking about clean energy and they have that technology, then what are they doing? Because if they're really concerned about oil and they have the technology to like literally make that obsolete, then what are you doing?
Well, I think that whole part of it is just another money-making scheme. It has nothing to do with them actually wanting to make things better. They're just making a shit ton of money.
Sure.
Indeedy.
Sure. I mean, I'd love to see where this goes, man. I think it's cool. I don't know, man. I think there'll be more to this, but unfortunately, I think the Biden story is taking Congress by storm right now. I can't see this getting room in there to fit in to have the discussion, to be honest.
And even if they did, it wouldn't make the headlines like the other stuff is.
Yeah.
So it'd be something you have to pay attention to separately.
We'll see.
Stuff. All right, Greg. Cheers to you, my friend.
All right, everybody.
Chris, cheers.
Cheersies. Fun topics.
Yeah, man.
Talk
you guys
to you
take care of yourself.
All righty.